So, here we are once again. You and I. Here we are once again. You and I. Just gonna say that twice right off the bat. By you and I mean you, the listener, specifically on YouTube or Spotify or any of the places where you get your podcasts, and me. I. That's who I'm referring to when I say I, is me, Jonah Everts, the host of the Fantasy and Other Stuff podcast. And the reason I say here we are again is because I started this podcast like a year ago. And then I only did, 3 episodes on it? I think if you go in the... I don't even know if I did 3. I think I recorded more than that, and then I just never posted them because I forget stuff very easily, okay? That's why I don't post very often on YouTube, and the reason that I've never been consistent in posting long-form content is because I'm a forgetful Franny. I just forget stuff all the time, and I don't know why. But with, TikTok, I can sit down and film it as soon as I think of it. I have the idea, I just sit down and I do it. And then I don't have to remember to do it because I already did it. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Is ADHD brain working for anyone else here? Because I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with me. That's why I can't remember to do this stuff. But I'm sticking to it now, and the reason I'm able to do that is because I'm literally just setting dates in my calendar where I have to sit down and film and edit these videos. If that's what it takes for me to remember, then I'm gonna do it, okay? Because I've been wanting to actually go all in on long-form content for a while. So here we are, back with the podcast, specifically because I like rambling, and a podcast is more conducive to that style of content. And so instead of just doing dedicated YouTube videos, these are going to be on YouTube, and I'm going to present them as YouTube videos, but all of this audio will also be on Spotify and the other places, wherever the hell you're listening to this. I don't really know exactly what all the platforms are, but this is going to be on all of them. So maybe you're listening from Apple Music. Do they have podcasts on Apple Music? I don't know if they do. Maybe SoundCloud. I don't think I'm going to put this on SoundCloud. That would be wild. If you're listening to podcasts on SoundCloud, what are you doing? Why? Why are you doing that? I feel like there's got to be someone out there doing that, but there's got to be somewhere better to be doing that, right? Anyways, welcome to the pod. Today, we're going to be breaking down my reading goals for 2025 because it's the first podcast that I've done in a while, and I think this is a good way to sort of establish where I am as a reader, what my future as a reader is going to be, and we can go on this journey together. We can go hand in hand, frolicking through the meadow of the future. The future being 2025, specifically. Not the distant future. I don't have a 5-year plan or anything, but I'm going to try my best to navigate the treacherous waters that are 2025. I'm running out of metaphors here. Anyway, I'm really excited to do this. And you can expect, by the way, anyone who's curious, maybe you're listening and you're already intrigued by the mystique of my persona. That's, maybe not that. Maybe you just... I don't know. Maybe you're listening for a totally, real reason. That's not what I just said. Perhaps you're listening and you're like, this guy's cool. I want to listen to him more. You can expect 2 episodes a week, okay? One is going to be just a weekly reading update, life update, where I fill you in on the gaps in my life, what I've been reading, what I've been doing, other stuff, hence the other stuff in the name. Just fantasy books and other stuff, just kind of whatever I feel like talking about. So once a week, you will get an update in a nature such as aforementioned. Why am I talking like this? You'll get an update like that. And then once a week, I'll have a dedicated video where I'm talking about something specific. So today, it's my 2025 reading goals. That's the topic for today. So let's dive right in. Oh, before I dive right in, actually, dive on in. Before I do that, if you haven't, go follow me on Instagram because I don't know what's happening with TikTok, and it might be going bye-bye. It might get the kibosh. It might get banished to the shadow realm by the US government, which would be depressing. It's taken me a while to build my platform on there. It would suck to see it go, but if you want to continue getting short-form content from me, go follow me on Instagram. I also have a Patreon. I have not done anything on Patreon in a long time, and when I had people subscribe to it, I was still posting woefully little, but I'm my audience is bigger now. I'm taking this more serious. I'm actually like this could become a job, which I have to take it more seriously. I have to be an adult about these things. If you join my Patreon, I will actually do stuff in there. I haven't fully decided exactly what I want to do with it. Let me know if you are interested in joining, what features you would like to see in there, because I would love to foster this community. There's also a Discord. I have a Discord, and I'm planning on next year doing some fun stuff in the Discord. Some really fun community building, where you might meet some fellow readers, you might meet some fellow goobers, and you might make a lifelong friendship. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet the love of your life in my Discord server. What a romantic, what a romance. That's a story for the ages. Why isn't that a book yet, huh? Why has it not been written? Discord Kitten and Me, a love story. Wait, this might be $1 million idea. Two wayward hearts meet each other in a Discord server. They bond over Valorant, and then they live happily ever after. Enemies to lovers. Oh my god, they're on opposite Valorant teams in the same Discord server, and they hate each other, and then they become lovers. Enemies to lovers, Discord edition. Don't take my idea, okay? You actually feel free to steal this. I'm not gonna write this. Steal my idea. Someone write this, okay? You'll be a billionaire. This is gonna be the next 50 Shades of Grey. They'll be making movies off of Discord Kitten and Me. I feel like this is definitely gonna work. Just trust me. Someone write this, okay? I need it now that I've imagined it. It's gotta happen, okay? So someone do that, and you will earn my gratitude, if nothing else. Probably nothing else, but my gratitude is worth its weight in gold, okay? Or maybe not worth its weight in gold. It's worth something if you're watching this and you're enjoying it. Perhaps you want to earn my gratitude. I don't know. Anyways, I've already gotten distracted. I forgot what we were doing. Reading goals. Okay, before I went on this whole tangent, my reading goals for 2025. So I have complicated reading goals because on one hand, I really want to branch out. I really want to get to some new genres, and I really want to open myself up to like new experiences as a reader. Before I became like a fantasy guy, I was reading all over the place. I was reading horror, literary fiction, other things that I can't recall right now, but I was reading all sorts of stuff. And then I started reading fantasy, and now I kind of only read fantasy, but I don't want to always be doing that. Like, I really want to be expanding. So I have a few books I've bought that I really want to dig into that are outside of that. So I have like The Count of Monte Cristo. It's somewhere on my bookshelf. I also have East of Eden. And there's other things. There's other books. Battle Royale. I've had that book for like 3 years. I still haven't read it. I have a ton of books that are not fantasy that I really want to get to next year and just prioritize those because, for one, they're not parts of like series, so I don't have to necessarily commit to something for like months at a time. I can just pick it up, get enriched by it, and then put it away. And that's a good feeling, okay? Don't want to be doing that all the time necessarily because I do love myself some epic fantasy series, and there are some on my docket for next year. For one, I am going to reread Sun Eater before book 7 comes out, so that's happening eventually. I don't know exactly when, but that will be happening. I also may or may not have committed to doing a reread of the Malazan Books of the Fallen. Spaghetti-O. That's a lot. That's 10 books. That's 10 books, and they are not small books, but they're really good. The only problem is I have other series I want to read too. Like, I want to read The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. I want to finish The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. I want to read the other things. My mind is shutting down. The Expanse. That's another one I wanted to read. I was going to continue The Wheel of Time at some point. Perchance. I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do with that. There's a whole bunch of stuff I want to read. I have too many books I want to read. I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but here's my plan. I also want to reread One Piece. That's another thing. I really want to reread One Piece. Also, if you're watching on video, check out this Luffy sweatshirt. Last time I posted a video in this, I had a bunch of people ask me where I bought it. I don't fucking know. I bought it like 3 years ago. No, that's impossible. I hadn't read One Piece 3 years ago. 2 years ago. I bought it 2 years ago. Wow. Has it really been 2 years since I caught up on One Piece? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Time is not real, folks. Time is a construct. It is a way to control your mind, okay? And my mind is not happy about it right now. What do you mean I caught up to One Piece 2 years ago? Anyways, all right. That feels weird. That feels strange. I don't like that. But I bought this, I think on Etsy or Redbubble. Sorry, tangent over. I want to reread One Piece. I want to read more manga next year. I didn't really read very much this year. Did I read any manga? I read Kagurabaki. At least I caught up to the current chapter, and it's like 10 chapters ahead of me right now. I read Kagurabaki. I read... Shit, is that it? I've been keeping up with Sakamoto Days. Wow, I've really fallen behind on reading manga, but I want to read One Piece. That's a lot of rereading next year. That's One Piece, Malazan, and Sun Eater, which happen to be my 3 favorite series of all time. Rereading them all in the same year doesn't seem like a great idea. I'm going to have to draw the line somewhere. I don't really know what I'm going to do about that. Someone help me. Dear God, I don't know what to do. It's fine. I'll figure it out. But my plan is to never do like back to back from the same series. So like if I read Gardens of the Moon, book 1 of Malazan, the next book I read will be something out of my typical wheelhouse. I'll read something like a lit fic or a history book or something that's not fantasy. And then maybe I'll treat arcs of One Piece like they're a book, and then I'll read an arc of manga, and then I'll go back to Malazan. So that way I'm constantly, switching things up, keeping myself on my toes, keeping you on your toes so that you never know my next move, because that's dangerous. If you can predict me, I'm boring, and I refuse to be boring, okay? Which is why I love traveling, because it's always surprising. Speaking of which, sorry, I'm going to go on another tangent here. I'm going traveling very soon, so enjoy this setup while you have it, because I will be traveling for probably 2-3 months. I haven't really fully decided how long I'm going to be gone for, because I'm kind of just... I have a bunch of money saved up, and I'm just going to see how long I can make it last. I'm going to Asia, so first stop is Japan, and then Thailand, and then who the fuck knows where. Just kind of wherever I decide to go. But those are the first 2 locations. I know I'm going there. We'll see how far my money goes, and then I will be back eventually. But I am going on a big trip, and I will be recording these episodes as I travel, because I won't have anything to do. I'm like staying in hotels, so I can just record in the hotel. I'll just bring my mic with me, bring my iPad, which is what I'm using for a camera, and you'll continue to get your regularly scheduled content, which, as of now, isn't regularly scheduled. This is the first episode, but it will be, okay? I'm manifesting consistency from myself. And by that, I mean I'm going to use the fuck out of my calendar app to remind me to do shit, okay? So, here we are on the first step of our journey, and I am just informing you of what the next steps look like. Speaking of that, also, I'm probably going to do some travel vlogs. I think, it's not necessarily book related, but I think it would be fun to share my journey, because I do travel quite a bit. And I'll be back in the States, but there's a very high chance I'll continue traveling afterwards. I would never stop if I could. I came back here, and I've just been saving up money, because I lived in Vietnam last year. I've just been saving up money, and now I'm going back. This is not related to the topic. What am I doing? This is part of my 2025 reading goals, though, because I am going to be reading while I travel. I read all the time. Like, I can read on the planes. I can read in the hotel. I can read if I ever go on like a long bus ride or something. So I'll have plenty of time to read. In fact, when I was traveling the most last year, or this year, Jesus, this year's almost over. It was like January, February, March, April. That was when I was traveling the most this year. I went to Bali, I went to Cambodia, I went to Korea, and I was living in Vietnam. And I was traveling around in Vietnam. I was traveling all the time in those months. That was actually where the bulk of my reading got done. I read in those 4 months, I read like 30 books. Because I just had a lot of time where it's weird. It's like inverse when you're traveling, you're simultaneously doing a lot and also doing nothing. Like, you'll spend a lot of time just sitting around kind of going to your next location or like waiting for something to happen. And then you get there and all of a sudden it's a rush and you're doing a bunch of stuff for like a day. And then you have a lot of downtime and you can kind of just do whatever you want. So there will be no issues with me getting content out and with reading. So don't let that bother you. I don't think it was going to bother anyone, but I feel the need to mention it anyway. So that is part of my 2025 reading goals, is to travel and to keep reading. And it's really cool to me now that I've read some books while I'm traveling. I'm going to always associate certain trips with the books I was reading at the time, or associate books with the trip I was taking, I guess. It's the inverse. So, like, for instance, when I went to Bali, I was reading The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, and I will never forget reading it on, like, there was this area in the hostel that was, like, the quiet area, and I went and sat over in this little chair, and, like, the hostel dog came and sat in my lap while I was reading. And I just sat there for, like, a couple hours in the middle of the day. I had nothing to do, so I was just reading. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget what book I was reading at that time. When I was in Cambodia, I was reading Valor. Wait, really? Yes, I was reading Valor, which is the second book in The Faithful and the Fallen. I remember reading that on the bus ride I was down in Koh Rong, and then we were going back up to Phnom Penh. I was with a group. And I vividly remember reading for like 5 hours straight on that bus ride and just getting sucked into the book because there was really nothing. It was like a very uncomfortable ride. And I was like, thank God I have this book to kind of get lost into. And in Korea, I was reading Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. I remember getting on the bullet train from Seoul to Busan. And I was like, I forgot how long I was on there. It was like 2 or 3 hours. It was like 2 or 3 hours, and I couldn't even see out the window very well because you go through a lot of tunnels on that drive. So usually, if I go on a train like that, like when I went to Japan last year, I was watching out the window the whole time. I went on a bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto, and you can actually see Mount Fuji out the window. So usually I look out the window, but on that one I couldn't see anything. So I just opened my book and I read Between Two Fires for like 3 hours, and it's a great memory. And actually, I finished a Cradle book. I think it was Reaper. I think I finished reading Reaper when I was the first day there, and then I opened Between Two Fires, and I ended up reading like almost half of it. Because there's a lot of moments that you just have downtime when you're traveling, and that's, to me, that's fucking heaven. That, like, I could do that forever, man. Just like those are they're such good memories, Those moments of just my two passions in life colliding, like reading on a long plane trip. Like, I went to Europe earlier this year, and I still remember reading. Wow, I was about to just say something that was completely wrong. I forgot what I was reading. That's a little embarrassing. Oh no, Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. I was reading Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett on the plane ride to Europe. That was awesome. That was also fantastic. Like, that's so cool to me. I love that kind of stuff, and I'm excited to make more memories where the books I'm reading at the time I'll never forget what I was reading because it's locked to that special memory of travel. And I'm also just excited to travel, obviously. Travel and reading and writing and creativity are my passions. And it's really cool that I can kind of combine them now that I have more of an audience. And I'm hoping that some people will be interested in my travel vlogs. I'm not totally certain if they will be, but I'm going to post them anyway. And if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. This podcast will be twice a week regardless. So expect that moving forward. In regards to other reading goals and other things about next year, what I'm most excited for is a lot of new releases too, because not only are we getting Shadows Upon Time, which is book 7 in Sun Eater, which is by far the book I am most excited for, because Sun Eater, as you may know if you follow me, is my favorite book series ever. So I'm very excited for the conclusion of that. We're probably also getting Red God, which is the final book in Red Rising, and I am very excited about that. I think we're supposed to get the next book in The Burning by Evan Winter. I don't think it's the last one. I believe that's supposed to be 5 books. I actually don't know. I might be wrong about that, but last I checked, it was supposed to come out in 2025. I don't think Evan Winter has actually confirmed that, but I will be sat when that book does come out. If it comes out next year, that would be fucking awesome. Is there anything else coming out? There was other stuff, but I'm blanking on what all is coming out next year. I guess I could go on my phone and check. I don't think there's anything major though, because this year, obviously, Wind and Truth was like the big fantasy release, and it's been hyped up for like a year now. They announced it like literally over a year ago, which is crazy, and they just let the hype build and build and build all through this year. And then it came out, and now now I'm waiting for Sun Eater, which really I think that's the only one that I'm like super super excited about. Like that's the one that like I'm gonna, if I'm working a job at that point, I'm taking time off, okay? And I am reading that book. I'm so fucking pumped. Oh my god. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Christopher Rocchio, if you're listening, I mean, I know you're listening. If you're Christopher Rocchio, I'm talking to you right now. You are a genius. Keep writing books forever, okay? And I will read all of them. And I will never stop hyping you up on TikTok, if it's still around, or on my podcast, or wherever I am. I will never stop preaching the gospel of Sun Eater, okay? Never. I would rather die. That's maybe not true, but I would do nearly anything to get more people to read this series. That's how much I love it, okay? Anyways, Christopher Rocchio, you can click off the video now, okay? I know that you were listening this whole time. You probably clicked on this video expecting me to address you, and I did, okay? So here you go, Christopher. You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for writing this beautiful series. Yeah, so reading goals, those are like the two big ones for me, is I want to read more outside of fantasy, and I want to get to these big releases, which requires me doing rereads. I don't think I'm going to reread Red Rising, but I might. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. I'm probably going to read Red God when it comes out, but I don't think I'm going to reread that series. I don't know if there's anything else, man. Do you guys know about any releases? If you know any that I'm leaving out, that I should be include. Oh, I just remembered one. Angie Kills a King by Evan Lycom. If you don't know who that is, it's Book Reviews Kill on TikTok, Instagram. If you follow me and you don't follow him, what are you doing? That would shock me, by the way, because he's kind of the blueprint for my TikTok and for my content. I'm stealing the podcast idea from him. His podcast, Book Reviews Kill. I've listened to it for years, so he's kind of what inspired me to even make this in the first place. He has a book coming out, though, published by Tor. Holy fuck. That's insane. He's literally living my dream. That is my dream. I'm writing a book right now with hopes that something like that will happen to me, but it may not. But he's doing it, man. He's fucking doing it. Anyways, his podcast, very good. He's writing a book, or he wrote a book. It's getting published by Tor. Angie Kills a King. It sounds awesome. I am very excited for it. I'm hoping I get an arc, actually. I don't know if I'm gonna get one, but I want one. I really want to read his book. I've been following his writing process from the beginning because I was listening to his podcast and he would give like weekly updates, and I was listening. I was there, man. I was ready for it. So that I am also very, very excited for. Another one that you guys probably haven't read yet, unless you're another creator like me and you're watching my video, The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I got an arc of that book. I read it in October. It's fucking fantastic. It's so good. I cannot recommend it any more than I already am. That book is amazing. If you love Abercrombie's writing already, if you're a fan of grimdark fantasy, dude, The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. It's like May 13th. You gotta read it. It's so good. I'm so happy I got an arc. It's not coming out for like 6 months. When I read it, it was October, so it was like 9 months or 8 months. A long time ahead. I didn't realize, this is something I did not realize about the industry, that you get arcs way in advance. So like people are reading V.E. Schwab's next book, which is Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil. That book doesn't come out till June. Why the fuck are people getting arcs of it already? I want one, by the way, because I'm becoming a V.E. Schwab head. That sounds wrong. A fan of V.E. Schwab. Schwab head sounds wrong. That sounds weird for some reason. I'm a fan. I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue earlier this year. Thought it was fantastic. One of my favorite books of the year. And then I just read Vicious right before I read Wind and Truth. Also fantastic. Both 5-star books for me. Like very good books. V.E. Schwab, her prose is beautiful. Her characters are great. I feel like she has great insights and ideas. And her stories are just so beautifully written. Like, I loved it. Vicious, man, that was a hard book to put down. It was like 300 and something pages. When I tell you, I could have read that entire book in a single sitting. Like, once it picked up for me, I didn't ever want to put it down. I had to force myself to like pace my way through the book because I wanted to read Wind and Truth on the day it came out. And I had started Vicious like 5 days ahead of time thinking, oh, I can just stretch this book until the day that Wind and Truth comes out. And then I sat down like the first day and I was like, I want to finish it right now. I don't want to have to stretch this for 5 days. And I kind of forced myself to, which is fine. It's fine. But book is very good. Loved it. And I will be reading Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab next year when it comes out. So I'm excited for that. That's another release that I kind of forgot about. I'm sure there's more. I'm just kind of dumb, and I can't remember what's coming out next year, which is fine. That's fine. There's nothing embarrassing about that. Unless someone is laughing at me right now. And if you are laughing at me right now, stop. You stop it right now, okay? You cease. You cease. Stop your criminal behavior. That is not allowed on my podcast. You're not allowed to laugh at me. It's my podcast. You're not allowed to joke about me. You're not allowed to insult me. You're not allowed to smear my character. You're not allowed to slap me. And you're not allowed to not call me handsome. You have to call me handsome if you come on the podcast. It's a rule. I'm going to enforce this rule too. If you ever just say, hey, Jonah, no, you're gone. You have to say, hey, handsome. Hey, handsome. How's it going, handsome? And then you're allowed to stay. You're allowed to stay on the podcast. Could you imagine? That would be really funny. No, it wouldn't be funny. It would not be funny. Actually, it would be really stupid. It's funny in theory. It's funny in the abstract. In the non-abstract, it's extremely vain and annoying. It would not be funny. I think it would be funny to like do something like that to my friends, but to do it to podcast listeners and like if I ever have guests on here, no, we're not doing that. I kind of want to now that I'm saying it though. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. Or am I? You'll never know. I mean, you're gonna know because you're gonna watch my video. I'm not gonna do it. I swear to God. Why am I talking about this? See, this is why I like podcasts, okay? Because I can just go on a tangent about some random bullshit that has nothing to do with the topic, and guess what? You can't tell me shit because it's a podcast, okay? It's meant to be conversational, okay? And this is how conversations go when you're talking to me. I can never stay on topic for more than like 27 minutes. Oh, gee. I thought I'd been talking for like 40 minutes. I was like, oh, it makes sense. I've been talking for like almost an hour. It's only been 27 minutes. I've gone on so many tangents. Oh, no. Okay, well, that's a little bit embarrassing. I thought I was cooking. I thought I was doing good. Okay. Well, all right. Well, pretend that I never said anything about me listen, I know, I understand. It's really hard for me to stay on topic, which is why I don't like doing YouTube videos that are just dedicated to like one single thing. That's not how my brain works when I'm talking. I can't do it like that. TikTok is fine because the videos are like 3 minutes long. I can talk about one thing for like 3 minutes, and sometimes my videos are like 10 minutes and I have to edit them down. Around the 10-minute mark, my brain starts doing something else. It's no longer thinking about the thing that I started thinking about. It has moved on. It has packed its bags and moved away to a different state. And we can no longer contact it. It changed its phone number. It changed its address. It has a new girlfriend. And it won't talk to me anymore. It's doing its own thing. And I can't control it, okay? I'm not a helicopter parent. I let my brain do whatever it wants to. And right now, it wants to talk about itself, apparently. What a narcissist. God. All right. Listen, guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Because if you're not enjoying it, I'm pretty sure you've clicked off at this point. If you are enjoying it, this is what it's going to be every single time. Me not knowing how to stay on topic and going off on these random tangents. So, okay. Other stuff, because it's fantasy and other stuff. So I'm talking about my 2025 reading goals and other stuff that I want to do in 2025. For one, I want to replay Elden Ring. So I'm a video gamer. I'm a gamer, if I might. And I love Elden Ring. They have a DLC for it. It's a video game. If you aren't well versed in the video game genre as me, video game genre. What the hell? In video games, Elden Ring, one of my favorite games ever, has a DLC. I was living abroad when it came out, couldn't play it, moved back to the US, still didn't play it because I played Baldur's Gate 3 instead, and now I'm playing Marvel Rivals, and I never found time, and now I'm going abroad again. When I get back, I'm going to play Elden Ring. You didn't need to know all that information, but you do now, okay? I really want to replay Elden Ring next year. That's really all I wanted to say. I don't know why the fuck I had to say it like that. Very excited for that, though, because I love that game. I also want to potentially, I might watch some new anime. I haven't watched a new anime in a long time. I haven't watched like Bleach, which is a big one that I know a lot of people have watched that I just have never gotten to. I haven't watched a lot of the new ones that came out in like the past couple years. Like I haven't watched any of Dan, and I know that's like the big hot anime right now. I haven't watched that. There's a whole bunch that I just haven't been watching as much anime as I used to. Really, I blame it on One Piece. It's like the greatest work of fiction I've ever experienced, and now every other anime that I watch, I'm comparing it to One Piece, and it's not as good. And it sucks because I used to love all of them, and then I experienced like what I consider to be the ultimate example of what the medium is capable of, and now I'm like, damn, if you weren't like that good, what am I doing with my time by experiencing you? That's a weird thing to say. Experiencing you? Ewy. Ew. That's gross. That sounds like what the 30-year-old guy at the college bar would say to someone. I just need to experience you, babe. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God, why did I say it like that? Someone stop me. Oh, no, that was gross. I didn't like that. I didn't even like pretending to be that character. But am I wrong? That's something I don't want to continue with the scenario. You get what I'm saying. That was weird. Anyways, anime. I want to experience new ones. Let's stop referring to them as sentient beings for the time being. Okay, I want to watch some new ones. I want to watch Bleach, and there's a couple others that are on my list that I haven't gotten to that are like pretty big. I haven't watched Dragon Ball before. I might get fucking crucified for that, but I've never watched Dragon Ball. And I'm hoping to go back next year and watch some of the old ones that I haven't seen yet, and some of the newer ones that I've heard really good things about, but I've just never quite gotten to myself. So that's another goal of mine in 2025, is to get to all these things, and to be intentional about it, because to me that's the ultimate separation between me kind of just drifting and wandering my way through the year and actually, you know, getting to the things that I really want to do, is being intentional with like what I'm consuming. So like purposefully choosing things instead of just on a whim picking something up, which I know works for some people. I too am a mood reader oftentimes, but when I do that, I end up digging myself into a hole oftentimes, which is why I'm in the middle of like 4 series right now. And I don't like that aspect of mood reading. I prefer to have some kind of structure to my reading. Otherwise, I just never get to stuff. I just never get to stuff that I really want to read. So I have to be intentional. That is one of my major goals in 2025, is to be intentional and intentional in the way that I'm searching for books, in that I want to be reading diversely. I want to be reading from a wide range of voices and, really enriching myself. I don't want to be, stuck in this box where I'm only reading the perspective of people like myself. Like I want to be reading, I want to be reading all sorts of diverse voices and ideas and thoughts and perspectives, and that's something that I think requires intention. It's not something that I think people do naturally. I think it's something you kind of have to think about and then go out and actively pursue. And I love doing that. It's rewarding. It's rewarding when you find something that really speaks to you, and it's because of your own intentional choice to pursue that thing, no matter what it is, not just in reading, just in life. If you find something that you have personally gone out and seeked or sought, I guess, and it ends up being as amazing as you expected it to be, that's a great feeling. And it's also great to just stumble upon hidden gems, but I feel like it happens a lot less when you're kind of insular in the way that you're discovering things. Like, I think it's a lot less likely that you'll find something enriching if you're only getting recommendations or ideas from this, like from like a bubble, you know? You need to be branching out, and that requires intention. So that's what I'm going to try and do in 2025. Is there anything else that I really want to? We're already kind of reaching the time limit. I'm going to try and keep these podcast episodes from about 30 minutes to 40 minutes because I am talking to myself, and going any longer than that, I will just get burnt out. So I'm going to try to stop it here. I don't really have much more else I want to talk about, so I think this is a good roughly stopping point. So I'll start doing a wrap up to give you an idea of what a wrap up will look like. And this is what the wrap up's going to look like. Okay, just 3, 2, 1. All right, folks, this has been a good day. I've had fun chatting with you. I hope you've had fun chatting with me, even though I can't hear your voice. Just know your messages have reached me across the cosmos. They have slid through the atoms of the world and into my ear hole. I may not hear them, but your words have caressed my brain. Yeah? Is that not comforting? I feel like, if anything, that's probably frightening, but it's meant to be comforting. Okay. All right. Anyways, folks, yeah, I don't think I have anything else I want to talk about. So let me know what else you would like to hear me talk about on the podcast. If you go on my Discord, there is a new channel called Requests. You can put requests in there for anything, for the book club, for the podcast, for the Discord itself, for my content, whatever you want. Just go in there, put requests in. So if there's a topic you want me to cover, if there's something you really want to hear me talk about, go into the requests in my Discord server, the only Discord server on the planet, and I will get to them. So just telling you that now, in case you're like, man, this guy needs to talk about more stuff. I want to hear this guy talk about desks and what he thinks about desks. You can put that in there. I'll talk about desks. I'll find a way. I'll figure it out. I don't know much about desks, but I would figure out a way to do it. Okay, just for you, just because you went into my Discord and told me you wanted me to do it. So, anyways, folks, that's about it for today. I will see you next time. And until then, I hope you're happy and healthy. I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.